Hey, I'm Brendan.
And I'm Mary.
And this is our ELR critique of Reading Plus by Taylor Associates.
Enjoy.
Well done. Alright, so this is Reading Plus. I already preloaded a student to begin an assessment because Reading Plus begins with a reading placement appraisal. As you can see, the student begins just reading here. The Reading Plus program gives him a couple of short stories as well as some questions to ask at the end that he or she, the student, will answer to gauge reading comprehension. The
assessment is in a multiple choice format here.
Multiple choice format, and it's also smart, meaning depending on the student's answers, the program will ask either more difficult or easier questions based on how the student is doing. So we should be doing pretty well. Also, if you click through too much, you'll see this screen. Here we are. Assessment is done, and now we're able to access the program. The first program is this application called PAVE, and here's what it looks like once the loading screen's gone.
So here in this activity, they're going to show you the number 8, and you have to count how many times you see the number 8. It's an exercise to train your eye. It's one of the pre-reading exercises that this program offers.
Yeah, it's a good introduction to the rest of the material. It allows you to track your eyes, and so you're training your eyes to look quickly at objects you're looking for, which is essentially what we're doing while we're reading, which is what Reading Plus does. Reading Plus is designed specifically to help struggling students read better. So here we are. We counted the amount of letter number 8s, put in 17, and we got it wrong.
Harder than it looks.
Yeah. All right, and
now we're moving on to
guided reading.
Mm-hmm.
Guided reading gives us a selection of short little stories that we read, and once we pick a story... Oh, wait. You want to talk about this? This part's kind of cool.
This is closed reading, right? This is where you have to fill in the word that you expect to be in the reading. So in this case, the sentence, my blank alarm clock, and you have to fill in electric.
It's as easy as, and I used to administer this in a fun little way, but you hit the flash button, which is just the space bar. The word appears once, and then you need to spell it.
The goal, however, is to try and guess the word before you see it flash, and then if you can't, you can have it flash, and then you still have to spell it correctly in order for your answer to be correct.
Yeah, as you can see at the top there, one of the little green or orange dots, the one that's filled in orange, that answer was fuel, and I continually hit the F and then the I button, and it would not let me spell it. And because I spelled it incorrectly, the program noticed, hey, he spelled the word fuel wrong and gave it to me as orange, which means I got it almost right. If I don't do anything with it or I continually spell the wrong letter, it will show up as red. This is just the introduction to guided reading, and now we're going to start with a short story.
So we're ready to read. So this short story is one that we chose. It's about green technology. It lets the reader go through a section of the reading, but it only lets you go so fast, and it times how fast you're reading, how many words per minute. You'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner a little button pop up for when it's given you enough time or what it judges as enough time that you can move on, but until then you can't.
And it does this for either 2 or 3 screens, so the student gets a bit of time to go through everything, and you can advance to the next screen until the little button pops up at the bottom.
There it goes.
And boom. Well timed. And so, once this story is done, much like the assessment in the beginning, the program will provide a series of questions for the students to answer to gauge understanding. And once in the higher levels, it actually goes up to kind of predicting plot as well as predicting actions of the characters. But right now, this is the lower level program, and so it's just gauging of how well we read this story.
So in the previous screen, you saw it gave us how many words per minute we read, and now it's doing a short multiple choice assessment of whether we comprehended or not. And apparently we did, because we're ready to read more.
And now it's going to step up. It's still guided reading, but this is the more time section because we did so well on the first. And notice the scrolling bar that goes by. This bar allows us to read at the pace that the program is allowing us to. So, yeah, as you can see, here's the text of the story, but it's being blocked by this bar that we have to read at the same pace.
This is a pretty advanced speed because we read the first part so quickly. So it allows you to change the speed based on the student's level.
Since Mary and I are strong readers, our words per minute were at like $1.86, and so this is what it's reading at. This is probably not what it would be set at for a high school or a junior high student.
This is trying to train you to read at 176, which is a very high level of reading.
And once again, at the conclusion of this, we would have questions like in the previous section.
This is your multiple choice assessment. And you'll see up here on the top right corner, all those bubbles represent questions, and when they're green, you got them right. When they're brown, you got them wrong, and it'll show you how many questions you have to go.
So we're going to actually, okay, so once you're done with this, it'll show you your assessment score, the amount of words per minute that you were reading, as well as how much you got correct and what your goal was for that particular lesson. And this is kicking it up to the next level of, this is Close Plus. So it's the same program, but it's just another application of the same program about predicting words and a lot of grammar usage, as well as predicting characters and what they'll be doing.
There's a little bit of vocabulary in here too, or content-specific words. For example, this passage that we're reading right now is about Indians. So there's things like wigwam and nomad and context-specific words or vocab that you could teach.
So yeah, as Mary was saying, this is now, we're reading a few sentences and then deciding because of the context what we should be placing in this box. All right, so thanks for sitting around and watching our critique of Reading Plus by Taylor Associates. Overall, it's a pretty good program, and we really like the way that it works with individual students, as well as would be very effective for ELD and SEDAI students to individually work with them so they can see and read and hear everything on the screen, as well as get feedback from the program itself. It's very user-friendly. From my personal experience, it does yield very high results. However, there are some things that we don't like about it so much.
Yeah, for example, it's not something you could implement for the whole class. And also, it's not particularly engaging or relevant to the students' lives. I could definitely see students reading this and being bored or just uninterested.
Overall, would you recommend this?
I would.
Rock solid. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Well, that went very well.